Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fridays at 4 on twitch.tv/DDO stream. I'm your community manager, Cordovan, and I'll be with you for the next hour hanging out on Lamania. We'll go through some of the news. We do have some news. We've got a busy couple of weeks happening, and we've been doing a lot of work for it. You've been seeing some stuff on Lamania and elsewhere for it, and we'll talk a little bit about that here today. And otherwise, we're just here to kick off the weekend in style. So, welcome, everyone. Nice to see you here. Glad to have you here with us. Alright, first thing I wanted to do is put up a web page about the end of Season 8 of the Hardcore League, because that happened this past week. So let me go and do that. You can find this over on DDO.com. Our after party kicked off on Wednesday, and that runs through August 15th, being shut off the morning of the 16th at presumably 9 a.m. Eastern when we go down for our weekly maintenance. But let's take a look, huh? So we have the top for Season 8 of Dragon Sword, Halloween 7 Keys. Not a stranger to these leaderboards. We have a four-way tie for first at 7,413 favor, which is not a tiny amount of favor to get in this relatively short Hardcore Season 8. So a lot of work there. And in order to get even on the leaderboards, you had to get 3839 here for Season 8. And then for Reaper XP, we have Soul Fairy Ultimate Destination with 4,111,451 XP. That took like dozens of Reaper... No. Dozens exponential times something. Although I do appreciate Irritator in second place with a nice, cool, even 3 mil. Just kind of sweet. But just something to be aware of if you want to top these leaderboards for Reaper XP or Favor. You gotta work for it by this point. People are getting it done. But you can find this list over on DDO.com. It will be added to the game in a future update. Possibly 60, 61. I don't think it's in for 60, so I'm going to guess 61 here. But if that changes, I will let you know. Part of the reason I don't think it's going to be in for update 60 is I've been working on getting the release notes ready for update 60 here, and that is set to arrive next week. If everything goes according to plan, next Wednesday we should be releasing update 60, which is largely the pre-purchase campaign for Update 61, Vecna Unleashed, in addition to a bunch of things that you saw on Lamania related to the release notes. And I will put those up in just a second. We can go over a little bit of it, just kind of give you a sense of what is happening. Some of this stuff is Lamania only. Some of this is not final. I know I had to do some work already on the release notes, getting them ready for Wednesday. But there we are. Zero Reaper. No groups to be found. It sucked. Well, I'm sorry you ran into that issue. Clearly others were able to either solo it or find groups based on those leaderboards there. But it's a bummer that you weren't able to get what you wanted to. We have Macrotechnic here with Update 60, some changes to Quest XP and Conquest. The updated DDO store I'll talk about that in a little bit. I'll even show you a little bit of it on Lamania here, but that'll be coming after Update 60, but within a few weeks. New loot, new quests. The quests are for Update 61, not Update 60. And, a lot to read related to Update 60 here. We're redoing a bunch of rune arm work. We have updated dungeon alert. We're going to have a new purple alert that goes off. And you've had a chance to see this for, gosh, a month plus at this point. I would mention that this preview of Lamania does have an update on Favor. So we're filling in some missing Favor slots. That would be Gatekeepers 700 for +2 saves versus extra planar creatures. Keepers of the Feather at, is that right, 240? Favor +2 to listen and hide. The Summer Court is 180 favor, +2 to Diplomacy and Perform, and then Moorgrave University 150 favor for +5 hit points. If you've already reached these thresholds and don't have the favor reward, because they're not coming here until update 60, you can go speak to the favor reward again, and you will get it. We have a whole bunch of bug fixes related to spells and items and some typos in quests and what have you. You can take a look at that over on the DDO forums if you're interested. I don't know that there's anything too much to bring up. The new stuff is in red. We do have the enemy AI and sort of pathing changes and a little bit of UI work as well. And this is this week's preview, which is going on for, well, not quite another hour here over on the Lamania preview server. All right. Next up, what do I want to bring in? Let's mention that we do have a challenge rewards boost. This is happening through July 23rd, through Sunday. You will get 40% more challenge rewards when you run challenges here this weekend. And you can take a look at some of the Update 61 X-Pack loot over on Lamania as well. And I could bring some of that up on the screen here in a little bit as well. So Syax wants us to not get rid of the bunny hopping giant and giant hold. I apologize. We are going to. It's not a fight I was able to win. I have let the team know that there are some folks like yourself out there who like that bug. It is, however, a bug, and there are differing opinions as to whether it should have stayed or not. Ultimately, though, the people who do the animation work and some of the quest designers felt very strongly that that did need to change, that it was not an appropriate animation. They didn't like it. It bothered them a lot. And so I recognize that people liked that giant. I kind of like that giant too. I'm on your side on this one. But unfortunately, we did not win this fight. And so the giant and giant hold will be getting a normal walking animation here with update 60. So the Macubray is saying, because of a store update, we're losing the 32-bit cosmetic previews. To be clear, that is a bug. Cosmetic previews are not supposed to be functioning at all, but they are still functioning in the 32-bit version of the client. It is true that that functionality will be lost when we update to the new DDO store. The ability to have a more robust preview system of cosmetics is something that is high on the suggestion list. We know that that's one of your top priorities, and it is something we would like to bring to the updated DDO store in the future. But it is true that that functionality, which was supposed to be removed for both the 32 and 64-bit, is still functioning in quotes, in a 32-bit state today, but that's going to be going away as well. But we do know that you want to have previews of this, of things in the DDO store, so that's some, in the top bullet points of things to work on for the future. It is certainly up there. So hopefully we'll be able to bring that to you here in the future. I liked Hoppy. I liked the giant hold bug. Maybe it was a bug. I know it really bothered the animators, but it didn't bother me. I liked it. Oh well. You can't win them all, and unfortunately we're not able to win this one, so. Alright, let me move over to the game client here and show off a few things. So this is in the test dojo on Lamania. I created an admin character, Artificer, to show off some of the bits about rune arms and what have you here today. And I'm also going to show off some of the cosmetics, but let's blast that rune arm there, huh? Boom, boom, boom. I've got a bunch of rune arms here. these are all new rune arms. So the one you're seeing right now is the legendary prototype Flash Transferal. Let's move over to the... Did I get that right? Yeah. Okay. This is one of the others here. I'm just using these on the test kobolds. This one here is the Siren test. That's actually a melee one. I suppose I could get closer. There we go. We have the Impact Redistributor. I suppose I could actually move to the side here so you can see the rune arm a bit too. Oops, there we go. Actually, that's kind of cool. Let me see if I can do that again. See if I can spray and pray. Nope. Okay. The propulsion module, did that take? I don't think that took. There we go. Oh, turn up the audio a bit too. We've got the byproduct disposal. And then I think the last one here is the cooling mechanism. It should be noted that these rune arms are coming with update 61. So this will be part of Vecna Unleashed, not update 61. I did want to call out another functionality. This is one of the things in Macro Technic. Actually, I think that's on cooldown right now. Got so many notifications happening. There we go. Oh, that's because it's a boss. Right. Needs to be a regular test. Sonic Boom. Lightning Hammer. Hammer time. And here's the force field generator. That'll show up for just a little bit and then disappear. That'll get you repair amplification and let you absorb force, piercing, bludgeoning, slashing, electric, sonic, and rust damage. Up to 15% if you got a rune arm. Unfortunately, my ability is not quite doing what I need it to do right now. Let's see. There we go. Alright, Radiant Prison's the one I want to show off. This is in the Macro Technic tree. And it'll, They'll seal away a target non-boss foe for 8 seconds in an unbreakable force field with no saving throw. In this force field, they cannot act but take 95% less damage and healing from all sources except for untyped. Alright. Let me move away from the test kobold here a little bit. I wanted to show off, unfortunately I can't. There we go. This is one of the new cosmetic outfits that'll be arriving with the Vecna pre-purchase. This is the Morgrave Academics robes, the Academics cape, and the Academics hat. I did want to mention we have another one too. This is the Lich's crown, the outer wraps, and the Lich wraps. So this is the other cosmetic outfit arriving here with the pre-purchase for Vecna Unleashed. Looking pretty Vecna-like, if I do say so myself. We do have a couple other things, too. We've got the Tiny Flame Skull certificate, so let me go and call the little Flame Skull. Hello, little Flame Skull. Why don't you follow me around? Actually... hang on a quick sec, I need to change scenes. So that I can open up the store. So that I can buy the thing. There we go. Can I put a top hat on the Flame Skull? No. Unfortunately. I wonder why. I will have to follow up on that. It seems like you should be able to put a top hat on the Flame Skull, but it looks like you can't. So, alright, back to the game. The other one here is, that I want to show off, the Warforged Owl certificate. Mechanical Owl. How Clash of the Titans, huh? Can the owl wear a top hat? No. Come on, man. Alright, well, I'm going to have to bug that, see what's up. Seems like it should be able to. We also do have 2 mounts. We have the Academic Steed and the Lich's Steed, which I will run around here in a little bit.
Something strange has been sighted off the coast of Stormreach, the mysterious Isle of Dread. Speak to Wolf, the gatekeeper in Stormreach Harbor.
So first, here's the Academic Steed. Morgrave University themed one. And then let's move over to the Lich's Steed as well. Oh. Sorry, I used the wrong one. Do that again. Alright, and then, let's see, what else could I show off here? We do have, Darling, the Were-Rat companion. I could go into a quest, I suppose, and show that one off quick. Yeah, I've been actually pretty busy today. One of the things that we've been working on is giving the updated DDO store a test. And so we've had a whole bunch of us developer types inside of the studio types, I guess, more appropriately, inside of the game to get things done. Alright, so Darling's special abilities has improved uncanny dodge, a rat form. He'll become a little rat for a little while. Immune to all damage, and monsters will ignore her, but her physical damage drops by 100% for 2 minutes. So it can basically be, hey, just be a cute rat for a little while. For 15 seconds. Open lock and search. Alright, let me move over to chat real quick and see what we got. No, I've not heard of any plans to have an alternate form of the Lich Steed without the armor. Perhaps in the future that is something we could do, but that's not something I have heard about us doing here short term. Yeah, I have no idea, Titan. They were probably just did some kind of override to test the thing, in terms of why there might have been multiple hirelings out in public on a specific admin character on Lamania yesterday. No clue. Probably testing something. Thanks, Artie. We have models for various birds that only get more used as enemies like falcons. Generally, the ones that we make are meant to be dual purpose, so in many cases, we probably have something like that. But generally, the creature companions are a little bit cutified versions of things that otherwise exist. So, sounds like an opportunity to perhaps bring a few other ones in the future. Alright, Sardonic, Red Fox wants to know, is the raid coming with Update 61 Vecna Unleashed or sometime further down the line? It'll be a few weeks after Update 61 is released. I could mention that, well, I did mention that next Wednesday we are currently targeting to release the pre-purchase for Vecna Unleashed. When that's released next Wednesday, it'll have a formal release date for Vecna Unleashed within the information. I can't give it to you today. And it'll have information about when the raid is going to be released as well. But that'll be a few weeks after the release of Vecna Unleashed. We're going to give it, as far as I'm aware, 2 Lamania previews. One of them will be before Vecna Unleashed is unleashed, and one of them will be after Vecna Unleashed is unleashed. So we'll have 2 raid previews, one before U61 releases, and I think one after U61 releases, and then the raid will release after that. I have not heard of any plans to adjust the orb, the looks of the orbs from what is seen currently on Lamania. Sorry, Macubray. Can we move the DPS test kobolds into guild ship crew list at normal servers? That has been a request that I've seen before. Perhaps it's something we could do in the future. It would be a pretty nice thing to do if we ever get to carve out the time for additional airship work. Any comment on the reasoning for targeting level 18 quests? Many folks level to 20 after finishing up level 17 quests and don't run level 18. The intention is to fill gaps and make it make sense based on the story flow of what's going on. We're aware that right now, today, that is what people like to do. There's a fair number of people who just sort of hold 18 until they get to the last XP point in 19 and then zip to 20. That is why these quests will have a saga associated with it, so that the XP more closely matches the kind of XP you would get from running an epic quest. Now, on a per quest basis, they are still going to be heroic quests when run on Elite, so they will be level 20 and have appropriate XP for a non-epic level 20 quest. But with the saga reward in that, it'll jump up quite a bit. And then, of course, we do have changes to the XP system in general that'll be coming here with Update 60. So, while today that may be true, the intention is to think a little bit longer term and offer things for the entirety of the level range. Ultimately, if this doesn't change your playstyle, if you still prefer to, run old quests or Sharn stuff or whatever instead, you can still do that. No one's going to make you run the heroic versions of Vecna Unleashed if you don't want to. But I think as an alternative, it's going to be pretty attractive to some people as a way to not only get the XP to level 220, even if they are banking 19, but they're also going to get a new Saga reward for it. That may be more attractive in some cases. In terms of viability of trapping for the new hireling, I guess we'll see. We'll see. I'd say Frogo does pretty well, and I would expect this hireling to do pretty well as well. But ultimately, we'll see. We will see. But they are a rogue, and they do have the ability to rogue it up, so. In addition to turning into the small rat. It's true, there is also no Reaper lockout for running heroic quests at level 20+. There used to be up until update 59, but that got removed. So that may also help incentivize, for those who wish it, to use Vecna Unleashed as a leveling path. Is this shirt exclusive to employees? Yes. This is actually, in some ways, the weakest of our SSG shirts, in terms of material quality and what have you. But it's the only one that didn't need to be washed. But we don't offer physical swag to date, so. Alright, well, I think we've largely moved through the news section here. I don't know that there's a whole lot more for me to mention today. Oh, yeah, there is. But I need to do something here quick in order to make this happen. So give me just a minute. It'll take me a minute. I want to show the new DDO store off. In order to do that, I need to add a stream element to block a thing. Just a second. There we go. Alright, so, and actually, I'm just going to resize this a bit, but this will be fine. So this is the current preview for the updated DDO store that you can take a look at for, well, a few more minutes here on Lamania. I would say that the target date for this is still up in the air, but could be in early August. We're perhaps looking at something like around August 2nd, so that would, next Wednesday will be Vecna Unleashed pre-purchase, and then the week after that is a thought that that may be when the updated DDO store debuts. And then we got one happening on the other game side as well. In many ways, the updated DDO store is very similar to what you're used to. It just looks a little different. But we do have, a section for specials, which are a little bit different than sales. The sales themselves will have... Some of this text on the bottom, by the way, is not particularly relevant. But, like some of this bit on the bottom really just has to do with the fact that I'm on an admin account. So you won't see the account refresh bar. We have a specific sales call-out section, so you can just sort of see what is on sale. if you want to. We do have, let's see if I can move over to this. Yeah, that's fine. We do have the ability to resize some of these elements. You can't currently subscribe on Lamania in this test, but this is where you'll be able to manage your subscription, including not just subscribing, but also canceling your subscription. You can still do it through myaccount.standingstonegames.com, as you would expect. This is another option to be able to cancel your subscription if you want to as well. We don't have any current active coupons, but if we have something like a buy one get one or 20% off an item of your choice style coupon, which is new functionality that we will be able to bring here in the future, you'd see these such coupons right there. Also have like a section for limited time releases and what have you. There is also a bookmarking system to get to your favorites, if you want to. And then you'll click on this section here in order to see that. It does paginate as well. And you'll be able to sort, like I say, in many ways this is similar to the existing store, and in other ways it is a little bit different. The redeem code is going to be right next to me, right there. And you'll be able to enter the weekly coupons, points codes that maybe you win from Twitch chat or whatever, and do that there. And then we know that there will be additional functionality coming to the DDO store, hopefully in the future. This is what we're close, I think, to shipping with, as it were. But we know that there's plenty of requests you have and requests of our own as well. So I would expect to see us get to that in the future. No, gifting will remain not available in the DDO store. Perhaps someday we'll be able to bring gifting back, but not anytime soon. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Johnny Hunt. Your DDO point total on live will absolutely be retained when we move to the updated DDO store. In terms of new payment options, I don't know that we have a lot new, but I can tell you what we will have in just a second. I'm calling up an article that I am working for publication perhaps by the end of next week, but at the very least when we go live with the new store. So the payment options are going to be for credit cards and debit cards: American Express, MasterCard, Visa, JCB, Diners Club, and Discover. For point bundles and bundled offers, you'll be able to use a PaySafe card. There's a specific functionality thing that I need to call out with Amazon Pay for a subscription, but otherwise Amazon Pay is an option. And then you can also use PayPal, and you can also use PayPal recurring for your VIP subscription. Specifically as it relates to Amazon Pay, it is not currently working when we go live. It probably will not be working when we go live for recurring subscriptions, but it will work for all other purchases. There's some specific Amazon Pay functionality that is not working right now. All right. No, we are not supporting Steam. We don't currently, and we won't in the new store functionality either. Yeah, I think, Johnny, you probably just ran into an issue having to do with the Lamania preview server. Now, no one buys points on Lamania. It's only the free point totals. And whenever we do a database wipe for Lamania, like we did for Update 60 here, that too will also go away. But that has nothing to do with the state of things on live. You say that it's in the past stuck around. I don't think that's true, though. Pretty sure it's always been cleared out whenever we did a database wipe. Yes, there is a transaction history in the new updated DDO store. The transaction history tab will preserve the most recent 2.5 years of your existing purchases, and then will retain everything moving forward. You'll be able to filter that by various types, and you'll be able to use that with customer service and such as well. For item purchases, things that you purchase with DDO points, you will not be getting emails anymore, which is either a good or bad thing, depending on how you felt about getting those sometimes spammy emails. But for things like real money purchases, you will continue, and subscription updates, you will continue to get emails associated with that. Yes, I know, Strimtom, that hiding usernames in the DDO store would be a great feature. That is also, someone had mentioned earlier, preview functionality. The ability to hide your account name in the DDO store when using the internal store browser rather than external is something that is also on that short list of things that we would like to do. I'm not sure if we're ever going to get a merch store. I'd love it, but there's a lot of kind of processes that are somewhat in the way, relevant to getting that done. But I think we could do it most easily with something like SSG shirts. Now, I don't know that anyone outside of the office actually wants to buy a Standing Stone game shirt. I can't imagine there's a huge number of you out there. But for those of you who would, that would be something we could more easily do than, say, offering DDO-specific swag. There's certain licensing arrangements associated with the license that have made it difficult for something like that to come into fruition. So, historically, what we can do is we can make swag for giveaways, for community events like PAX East meetups and things, but we can't offer it for sale. And that restriction is likely to remain long term. Alright. I mean, maybe a few of you would want SSG shirts. Maybe not this one. Black on black and all. Well, yeah, at one point it was black on black. After X number of washings, it's more black on gray. But, there we are. Alright, well, I think I've pretty much cleared through the news, and it's getting a little late to do a lot of questing here, so I might just end the stream a little early on this Friday. We ended up, one of the things we were doing this week is basically a full DDO store catalog regression. So for those of you who are in QA, we had to check everything. Everything that was in the updated DDO store. And that's been going on for a few days now. I have been doing a large amount of copying and pasting into the updated DDO store on Lamantia and elsewhere in recent days, along with other people doing the same thing. But I think we're basically, we're getting close to being able to go live with it. We'll have more information on the downtime for the updated DDO store when it's actually set to happen, but it could be as soon as early August. I don't know how many of you are out there that are impacted by this. I think most of the coupons I've given out have already been redeemed. But things like the 100 DDO point codes that I give out are not going to function under the new store. We have to start fresh with that because we're using a new redemption system, and all those old codes are not going to work anymore. So If you have an old points code for me or something like that, redeem it before the new DDO store gets there. I'll probably get you a replacement if you ping me about it afterwards. But that is something to be aware of, as we are switching to new codes. So we'll be doing that here. This is not the first time we've done that, though. There's been a couple of rounds of that previously, but we're doing it again. So. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, it's easy to say, yeah, let's sell T-shirts, but then there's actually a lot of process that would need to be created. Like, we don't have a fulfillment center to do things for physical swag, so either we would need to do that work ourselves, like actual people inside of the office, or it would have to be done through a fulfillment center. And you could maybe do something like use one of the popular online T-shirt makers, and somehow get a license, say, with all the various people involved in the Dungeons and Dragons license that would give you permission to do a T-shirt or something like that, and then load it up onto one of those online places and do a separate contract between all those licensors and those online places, and figure out how it all gets cut up and all that sort of thing, all the revenue from it, the gross revenue from it. But really, when you start getting into the process of what it would take to actually start selling T-shirts, it gets pretty complicated pretty quick. From if you want to draw your own drawing and upload it to t-shirt-shack.bike and start selling your own T-shirts through T-Shirt Shack or whatever, you can do that pretty easily. But when you start dealing with all the entities involved in an officially licensed game that's part of an officially licensed product of Dungeons and Dragons, it gets more complicated pretty quickly. And it's been a prohibitive factor to date. Any chance we could put hireling folders on sale? Potentially. I know I've also seen there's a couple of people out there who really want us to get character slots on sale as well. And that would be nice to do at some point. I don't think we currently have character slots associated with one of our regular rotating sales. But then again, also, remember what I was saying with the updated DDO store here, we're going to have some functionality that will allow us to do kinds of discounts that we haven't been able to do previously. Like, from what I've heard, buy one, get ones, or take 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, whatever, off of an item of your choice. Which, I know is pretty standard in a lot of other places, but it's not something we've had to date. And so that could be a way to get items that are not part of the regular weekly sales, perhaps, at a discount here in the future. Can you buy Reaper XP? No. You must earn it the hard way. By dying in Reaper mode. There we go. Figured for the last few minutes, I'll just bum around. Not this way. I will bum around over on Isle of Dread and just kill a few minutes while I'm chatting with you. My character, so last week's show, I got stuck. I ran out of time. After the show, I did complete the quest, as you see, and that was enough to get me up to level 32 here on Wayfinder. So this character is now level 32 and ready to move on a little bit to some other things on Wayfinder. I have to admit, I got pretty nerve-wracked a little bit by the end of last week's show, because I was just struggling. I was on the struggle bus, and it was not a pleasant experience to be on the struggle bus on the live stream. So, but I got it done just fine afterwards. And, so now I'm level 32. Ready for the next... Well, I really should probably reincarnate this person. That's what I should do. But, barring that, I'm gonna play him for a little while. Them. Her. For a little while. Mokdo. I don't know that it's... I suppose if we had something specific related to Reaper XP that we were testing, previewing in Lamania, then we could maybe have some kind of Reaper XP giver, but otherwise the intention of the test dojo is not to give you the ability to do anything you want. It's to facilitate specific previews of whatever it is that we're previewing. So, if we had a reason maybe for you to preview something that involved Reaper XP, like if we were to finally deal with the Reaper point issue, as it were, and then maybe there would be some functionality we could add to the test dojo to facilitate that. It would probably be done through the new Keymaster or whatever, but otherwise it's not really intended to just let you do whatever you want. Nothing I can really say today about the next level cap. We got things we're doing instead, like getting ready to release Update 60 and the pre-purchase for Vecna Unleashed, and then Vecna Unleashed itself. So I think the reason character slots haven't been on sale since 2021 is that the regular recurring sale that it was a part of got deprecated. And so that is why it hasn't really been available, because there was just no real reason to do it. Sev said in a stream a while back it would be with every expansion, every other year, with mini expansions on the years in between. Well, okay, I am glad Sev said that. That tracks with my experience about what we're doing regarding level caps as well. And I would point out that Vecna Unleashed is in fact a mini expansion. So I will let you determine what to read from that in terms of when our next level cap might be. So one of the things I've actually been pretty excited about this particular summer, I have my son with me over the summers, and then he's with his mother during much of the school year. And this summer, my son, who was 11, got into DDO. Finally. After, the DDO has been around since he was a little baby. Literally, I came out of the hospital, and during that time, I was working for Turbine at the time, so he has literally seen DDO ever since he was in a crib. But it was this summer, finally, that he decided to check out the game with me, and got into it. And so he is playing with me on one of these servers, and he's also playing a barbarian. He was just like, I just want to hit things and kill them and have a big weapon and all that. So I was like, alright, well, let's put you in as a level 1 barbarian, great axe wielder or great sword wielder, and have fun with it. And he's been having a lot of fun with it. What that means, what I'm hoping that means, is sometime here in the future, I may in fact be able to have my son co-stream with me for one of these Fridays at 4s. And that might not be, what do you care about me playing DDO with my son? But that would be really fun for me. And I think people might get a kick out of it, because, he is my son. And he's got some of the same quirks I got. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think people would at least some people would get a kick out of it. You can tell me how much of a noob I am on stream. So, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with this character on Wayfinder yet. I could definitely give this character ER, Epic Reincarnation, and True Reincarnation. And perhaps run it up again through level 1, if I want to. I might also be able to... I kind of like to just have a character at level cap for a little while. But I could use some better gear. My gear is pretty poor on this character, because I just don't have much. As a matter of fact, I have an open goggle slot right now. I do have the Stormreach Guardian's Helm. That's where I'm getting my Strength and Deadly and Seeker at the moment. I'm currently using the Death's Locket mostly just for the Death block. That can get swapped out. For the Trinket, I got the two-headed Platinum piece, mostly for the Good Luck and Spell Absorption. I do have the Storm's Bulwark currently slotted in there as well. I think I just got random gen here. Yeah, for the natural armor bonus, so my cloak can get swapped out. I'm using 13% dodge on the belt right now, just to give myself a little dodge. I do have the Epic Laurel Helix for basically my fortification, sheltering, and protection a little bit. For this, I've got this on mostly because Resistance 12, because I didn't have anything else for it, and Strength 14 instead of 13 from the helm, so my head slot could get replaced as well if I want to. It's just Dex and Jump and Insightful Seeker. False Life on this one. Constitution is currently on my bracers. And nothing. Just Insightful for my armor right now. So clearly I'm in need of gear on this character. And that's something I'll probably be trying to work on here in a bit. One of the things I'll probably do is do some Isla Dread running and upgrade some of that. And then of course we'll have Vecna Unleashed. Maybe I'll use this character and run Vecna Unleashed stuff on them for a while. Any plans to reopen applications to the Players' Council? Yes, Sish. We've had plans to refresh the Players' Council for quite some time now, but other priorities just keep getting in the way of it and make it so that we've not been able to actually move forward with doing that. But that is the plan, is sometime here in the relatively near future we're going to refresh the Players' Council, and by that I mean largely start fresh. Some of the same people will come back, some won't. And take a new round of applicants for the Players' Council. I have no idea when that's going to happen, though. At one point I thought it was going to be early this year, and then other things have just gotten in the way, preventing us from doing that. Oh, last week I had someone ask about plans for Epic, or not Epic, but the updated Chronoscope raid. We had talked about making one of them legendary, and we'll have more information about that in the near future, but that is still on track to have a classic raid come back. And so that's a little bit of news there. No ETA on it, but it's still on track for potentially this year. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. How is the job offering for QA tester going? I don't really have much visibility, to be honest, in the hiring process. I'm not part of the interview process for it. I'm not dealing with applications, and I don't have any input really on the hiring itself. I can tell you that we had so many applicants that we ended up just having that job posted for, what, less than a week? A week? I don't know, however long it had to be posted for. But we had a ton of applicants, not just from within the industry, but you know, from the DDO playing community as well. So I know that they have done some interviews associated with it, and I believe further interviews are being done as well. But in terms of when we'll have an announcement there? I have no idea. Actually, I wouldn't even expect that we would have an announcement per se. It would probably be more just that we would um, hire someone. We don't typically announce new hires on the show here. But not to say we couldn't, but that's not the current plan. Okay. Legendary Misery's Peak. Maybe someday. That's definitely not it. That's not a raid either. But, maybe someday. I know that for years now there's been the thought about kicking around. It's like, well, if you ever did a Legendary Misery's Peak, you could swap roles. And instead you would, Selamus and crew would be gone for whatever story reason we could come up with. And then we could have you take the role of them, and you could see a bunch of little low-level adventurers going through on the other side. That sounds like a lot of fun to me. I think Titan will hear a lot more about what we will be doing for the next Classic Raid update as we get closer to it. Right now our focus is clearly on getting Vecna Unleashed prepared and out the door, and that has a raid associated with it. So clearly this wouldn't happen until that gets done. So it's a little early to really talk about what it might look like and how it would be different. But you'll see it on Lamania. And hear more about it here in the future. Yeah, I like that moment a lot, Zermi too. Seeing the dragon underneath the ice, and then seeing the interaction between the Mind Flayer and the dragon at the end is also really cool. It's just a really fun moment in the game. Gen Con is happening this year. We're just not a part of it. Maybe some year we'll be... I'm pretty sure at some point we'll be back at Gen Con, at least for our own personal fun as off-time employees. But I would expect to see perhaps... I'm sure we're not done with meetups associated with Gen Con. Just not this year. I can't make it. Speaking of just personal, off hours things, though, I am going to be going this year to... what's it called? I suppose I should think of the name of it. The Retro Game Expo that's happening August 26th, 27th, something like that, in Hartford, Connecticut. So I don't know if there's anyone hearing this on the DDO side that goes to the Retro Games Expo there. I need to think of the name of it. But if you happen to be a DDO player and you're going to be in Hartford, Connecticut for that Retro Games Expo, perhaps send me a PM or something, let me know. And then maybe I could get you a little bit of swag. Alright, well, we're at 5 o'clock here. Yeah, Retro Games Expo. I can't check my email on my browser because of a thing that I'm uploading on the Lotra side. Let me go and check this. But it's towards the end of the month in August, and I'm just going on my own because I'm an Atari nerd. And I went the very first year when they were not in Hartford, but were in some other place. And phone. Okay, here we go. Retro World. There we go. The Retro World Expo. August 26th and 27th at the Connecticut Convention Center in Hartford. I'm going to be going to that because last time I went there I got some $10 Atari cards and along with a $10 Atari case. And a few other bits and bobs as well, and had a good time. And so I'll be doing that this year. So if you happen to be attending that, maybe just shoot me a message on the DDO forums or something. I'll pack a t-shirt or something for you if I can. So they've been around 5 or 6 years, but they're pretty niche. They're retro games, right? So it's a small regional convention, retro game convention, but it's a fairly big regional game convention as well. So, speaking of Atari stuff, this is my newest acquisition. I picked up a Submarine Commander. This was a Sears exclusive, one of 3 exclusive to Sears Atari cards that got released. Although, unlike the other 2, this one was actually developed by Atari and just given as to Sears as an exclusive in 1982, before Sears shut down their Atari publishing arm. And so that's the kind of nerd I am. So you know, you all knew that already. Thanks for watching Fridays at 4 on twitch.tv/DDOstream. I think I will be here next week. There's a chance I may not be. And if I am not, I'll announce it over on Twitter, Facebook, that sort of thing. One quick mention, if you are a Threads user, you know, Facebook's Meta's Threads social media did kick off a few weeks ago, and we do have a DDO Unlimited Threads feed as well. So if you happen to be using Threads, maybe give us a follow. We could use some numbers over there right now. It's a little on the quiet side, but that's cool. And then you can also find these archive videos over on YouTube and on Twitch. Thanks very much for being here, and I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.